Whatever secrets she forgot this one once. Yeah, she don't need it. Yeah. I'm not gonna be here, right? Yeah. I'm like, bye. Is everything good? Good. Start in a couple minutes. How are you? I am good. Why don't we get started since you are also prompt, which I greatly appreciate. Welcome Module 6, happy March. Weather wasn't bad today, isn't bad today. It's been really warm up in next week, but you never know, right? You never know. So today we'll do a general check-in, clinicals. Everybody is I believe settled in their clinical experiences. I have all of the observations scheduled for this week and next week, starting tomorrow. So I'm excited to get those started, and I'll check in with people about those. And then you'll get into your groups and you'll work on your infant lesson plans. You'll work on the lesson plan and you'll present the lesson plan today. And then I want to talk about, I'm doing something a little bit different this semester, a little bit about what I was telling Nancy, a little bit of an experiment. Another one, I'm going to give you an option for the health, safety, and nutrition assignment. I see you did that. I was like, you're living my life, reading that. And then next steps and reminders. And I do want to talk about I've gotten some common questions from people about the lesson plan observations that are coming up and completing those forms. So I thought I can just address that with everybody. But the other thing I'm thinking about, I was reading today, I didn't write comments in them, but I was reading from the modules, the gateway modules, the health, safety, and nutrition ones that we're doing. I was reading what people's reflections about those. And made me think about a couple of things. One is, and I know if you're working in a center or a school, perhaps you have to do that mandate, well, you should probably have to do the mandated reporter training, that BCFS training. But if you are not working anywhere and you're a student, did you have to do the training in some other class here in education? Or even to apply to things? Yeah, you did, that's what I thought, you had to do this, okay, that's what I thought you had to become, or get that certificate for the mandated reporter. Okay, that's what I thought. The other thing, and a couple of you wrote about this, especially, well, you know, even when you're clinical, especially if you're working in a school or child center. A couple of you wrote about, gee, maybe I need to find out what the emergency plan is, or the evacuation plan is at my school or child. So that's important to know. For a school, public schools, you know, maybe Josie, you can comment on it, but it's a different child. Yeah, but in licensed chapters in the memorandum program, we had to have a oh gosh, I think it was called the risk management plan. And there were different elements of the plan. Part of it was to have the evacuation procedure and to have a location that we could go to. We could return our building, you know, fire or something in the building. So it's really important that, you know, you should be aware of that. So I don't know, anything you can share with us about CPS?
The CPS is the red bag, the red folder. You have certain evacuation plans, like certain exits, for instance, a lot of evidence, like rule lock down, depending on what you're going.
Sure, right.
And from there, we have to put on like a red card that goes into the student.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, because, you know, sadly, the world that we are living in today, now it's been 10 years since I've been a director of a program, but we also, as you're talking about the cards, we had instituted, lockdowns. You know, right, so we would, and we actually, we had windows on our doors, so we put shades, you know, to cover the windows. And then there were, I have to remember what the codes were, but you know, there's like a red card and a green, you know, if it's safe or if a child is missing or something else, so.
For the lockdown too, the admin goes on the PA, we have to wait for it, probably because after we do the whole.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
It's the longest 7 minutes of your life, but we have to practice it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so true. Any other thoughts or comments? And then the other thing, as I was reading some of your reflections today, all right, so let me share this with you. My son, when he was young, when he was a child, I think he was 6 years old, he was diagnosed with asthma and a peanut allergy. Now, he didn't have a severe peanut allergy because he had been eating peanut butter and jelly about every day before the diagnosis, but he did have an EpiPen. And at that time, he's 28 years old now. At that time, 6 years old, you know, I guess it was what had happened, 6, 7, 8. The schools, I don't think, were as educated and familiar about the procedures. And here's why I will tell you that as a parent. When he was in 4th grade, so school was kind of like a U-shaped school. So the main office and the nurse's office was here. And then hallway, all the way around, he's in 4th grade or 5th grade. And he's on the other end of the school. I happened to be there, I don't know, I was checking with them about his EpiPen. The EpiPen was in the nurse's office. If you know anything about anaphylaxis, every second counts. And I was very unhappy because imagine if the teacher in the classroom has to notify the office and somebody from the office has to get that EpiPen and take it all the way around the school. So that EpiPen should be with the classroom. And, you know, so, you know, that was my learning. And then when I was a director and we had children, EpiPens were also very expensive and insurance didn't always pay for them. We even had children where we were at school, we had 2 EpiPens, one in the classroom and one the teacher had in a fanny pack, like where they would take it outside on the playground or if they went on a field trip. The other thing, we had a paramedic we had two situations. We had a paramedic from the fire department and we had somebody from some food and allergy network come out and do a training for all of us on how to use an app. I never had to do it. I've never had to do it. But you have to be trained. So I just, that kind of came up for me. So any thoughts about that? Is that surprising information? Yeah.
Working with Chicago Public Schools, we have to be trained.
Good, good. So if you have a child in your classroom with a life-threatening allergy that has an EpiPen, that EpiPen should be accessible to you in that classroom. Should be somewhat safe, obviously. And yeah, so those are just some. I don't know, any questions, comments about that? Yeah, I mean, we've got to keep ourselves safe. We've got to keep the children in our care safe. The other thing I just want to bring up now, because I've talked to a few students about this as you are preparing for the observations this week and next week and preparing your lesson plans. I know that the form is, how many pages is that form? How many? It's a lot of pages. There's a lot of elements on the GCOE lesson plan form. I am okay, and I think this would be true for 327A. I don't know that it would be true for B, your future classes. For example, if you don't fill out the element language demands or time management, what was that? I keep forgetting what the other one was. There's a couple of them. If you put the details in your instructional procedures, I'm fine. So meaning you would really break down in your instructional procedures what you're going to do. If you're doing a read aloud, a large group read aloud, if there's questions you're going to ask children, if there's certain vocabulary words that you're going to introduce, time management can go in the instructional procedures, so you don't have to repeat yourself in those different moments. And I know the beginning of that form has the objectives, the focus, the standards, the rationale. It's a little redundant. So you can, if you can hit all those marks in one area, the standards, you should put the standards. So any questions about that? Now, those are just some of the things that came up that I didn't want to forget about. All right, so it's March. We are almost halfway done. One more week until spring break. I don't know if it'll feel like spring break, but we'll see. We will not meet again for 3 weeks, I think, because of spring break.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the end. It'll be the end of March, which is, what is it, like the 24th or something, the 23rd, 24th. Kind of crazy. Today's the beginning of March. So I don't know how you feel about that, but so here's my general check-in for everybody. How are you feeling today on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least, 5 being the best? You can hold up your hand. How are you feeling? Show me, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up so I can see. Keep your hands up so I can see. Okay, put them in. Now, if you were a 3, I saw a lot of 3s. Even if you were a 5, did I see any 5s? I saw a lot of 3s. Okay, so think about this. You don't have to share with the rest of us, but if you want to, fabulous. If you were a 3, whatever number you were, 2, 3, 4, what's one small thing you can do today, tonight, tomorrow morning to move from a 3 to a 4 or from a 2 to a 3? Julia?
Sure. We did conferences last week at work, so I fell a little behind in something. So I've been just catching up today. I should be able to finish most of it today and tomorrow.
So you'll feel
That's
better.
my goal, yeah.
All right, so you'll feel that. So you'll move from what we were 3 to a 4.
To a 4, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
And I saw Christina, did they tell you at Violet on here
You did where?
at the infant toddler camp?
Oh, did you? Yeah, they do offer those, but I don't have to go because we do the
Yeah.
gateways here.
You're in school.
Yeah.
You're in school. Christina was my former student at Open.
Yeah, she's
Lovely. I adore her. I do. for when I was teaching in person. And Violet taught it.
Yeah,
In the
yeah,
early
she did.
childhood stuff.
Mhm.
I didn't even know she was that.
Oh, yeah. Both of them.
Yeah, right.
Christina's like my best friend.
She told me that.
Yeah, she's
She
right
told me that. She told me. All right, so anyone else? So what would it take to move from a 304 to 405? Yeah.
I was like 3.5 because last night I didn't get any sleep. It was just my body. I couldn't like sleep. My mind was awake, and as no matter what, I kept telling myself, go to sleep, and I wasn't even on my phone. It was just my brain active. And I feel like what would make it a 5 is like to get some really good rest tonight. Just wait. Hopefully, yeah. I've been struggling with sleep, so I'm just not sure anymore. I've tried taking melatonin, doesn't work. I feel like if I do take like a supplement pill to sleep, it gives me sleep paralysis. So I'm just like trying to figure out ways to just improve my sleep, whether it's like tea or something. So I'm just hoping today I get sleep.
Yeah, and sometimes Sunday nights is very rough for me. You know, and I will purposely not do any work on the weekend. Yeah, I had to work at the conference Saturday and then Sunday and then
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she does a lot of meditation, she yoga and meditation. He tells me to go to bed and think of whether 3 things or 5 things are great. It works in the breathing.
I'm reading the notes as a book.
Yeah.
Just like
I-
looking
there's
at
so
those
many
words, you're just like knocked out.
What helps?
Oh,
Reflection. Yeah.
yeah.
A personal reflection. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, journaling.
I think.
The
I
funny
know.
ready?
I say to all of you all the time. I used to
My
say it
bad.
to myself. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
the funny part is that for some reason when I have a really long discussion, like an important discussion where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm talking on the phone and it's important, I start drifting off to sleep. Are you sleeping? I'm just and I'm like, I'm so sorry. What did you say? I know you said something super important. I'm so sorry.
Well, I fall asleep watching television and then I go to bed.
Yeah, I started that.
But yeah, you're right. You're right. You're reflecting and I was, it's getting into a good routine. And I say that not to you, I say it to myself too. You remind me, last year I went on that for free. I didn't do the purchase one. I think it was the Headspace app. Have you heard of that one? And my husband and I were doing it at night. Which was reflection and mindfulness.
Also just like writing down.
Five resilience. Right?
I just listen to the ocean waves.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All sorts.
My house is really close to the neighbors and I hear their TV and I'm like, what show they're watching today?
Try to figure it out.
I have a sound machine in my bed.
Yeah, I think that's just like something I'm gonna have to put in.
I need sound.
White noise is good, brown noise is good. I
Yeah.
know because one of my daughters has ADHD, so
Yeah. Any other tips? Anyone else want to share? Anyone else want to share? Yeah.
just like nervous about how the observation's gonna go, like the whole teaching. Just planning it out and everything.
Someone watching you really doing it.
Like,
I've been doing this for years, but then someone to stand there and watch me, I'm like,
Well, listen, even when I
I know.
get observed here by somebody, I'm nervous.
I don't think it's so much like you being there. I think it's just like the first time teaching.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
planning everything and hoping everything goes good,
Yeah.
even though it's like my first time. I know it's not gonna be perfect, but I'm like still part of myself for it to be
Don't be
perfect.
so hard on yourself. Be in the moment. Be in the moment.
Children are gonna be children. We had a student teacher and the first grader, literally, when she's filming herself about to do the lesson, he went Geronimo into the whole entire carpet and it was hot. She still had it.
Cooperating teachers are nervous and they want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I say to all of you is, I come from preschool. Yeah, I come from, you know, working with infants, toddlers, and preschoolers. And, I think I probably haven't, but I think I've seen it. I've been through much of it. And like this optional assignment you have coming up with these, you know, when I give you like things to do in class or assignments that are case studies, most of the time, I don't even make them up. They're just real life. So I don't expect perfection with preschoolers.
I also feel the same. Like, I think I'm really constantly stricting myself and making things perfect
Yeah.
and wanting to be perfect. But I was actually talking to my corroborating teacher today, and I'm like, I'm actually really nervous. I vented. I was like, I'm nervous because he allowed me to do morning meetings, but I had told him I was nervous, and he said the point of this is for us to learn and
Yep.
have mistakes. He's like,
Yep.
there's needs for feedback, and
Yep.
he's like, don't be nervous.
Yep.
It's like your first time, and I think that really
Yeah, that's
helped.
what I'm like reminding myself too, and I think just like also like, since it is my first time like teaching, it's like getting like the process is like what's making me nervous or like I'm actually like something.
You know, so, you know, this is just me talking, you know, different teachers have different perspectives. You get those kids engaged, get them excited. That's more than half the battle. You know, you get them interested in listening to you. I don't care what you're talking. I do.
Yeah.
You know, but, right, you know, to a degree, but, you know, you've got to get, you know, if you're enthusiastic, you're excited about it, that will be contagious to these children. And it's preschool, you know, and, you know, and I think I was talking to Nancy earlier, you know, you're not with these kids every day. You are, but you're not with these kids every day. If you were the teacher in the room, and I've said this to many teachers that I've coached, and I was observing you and you said to me, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't meet my goal, I would say to you, guess what, you've got tomorrow. Yeah, so don't be so hard on yourself.
And then
You know, you want kids, I want preschoolers especially, you want them to love learning and love going to school. What were you gonna say?
For the first observation, did you want like small groups or like
Or
big
learn
groups?
whatever, my preference would be with the 2 lesson plans, so I'm glad you asked that. 1 small group and 1 large group. And I don't care which one you do first. I really don't, whatever, I don't, and I agree, especially with large group. Small group, practice, any practice you can get, you know, before your official lesson plan. Practice, it's all about practice. And hopefully, you will feel, you know, think about the children you work with too, this is the parallel process. You want the children to feel safe and secure, you want to have a relationship. So they will learn, they will try, they will problem solve, they will make mistakes. And same thing for you with your cooperative and with me. You know, and it's all about fun. It's all about fun. That you know, every day is different, especially with preschoolers. Every day is different.
In regards to like small groups, because for Miss Kathleen, she does like 4 groups and different activities based on the lesson.
Right.
Would you be just observing us in that little group that day?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I do, I have to remember to say this, just so you all know. I type on my, when I observe, I type. Did I tell you what I do? Okay, you know, like my nails, you know, makes people nervous. I'm just typing what you're saying, what the kids are saying. I usually do a timestamp, like, you know, 10 o'clock this, 10:15, you know, that kind of thing. That's all. That's all I'm doing. And I try to be as invisible as I can. But it's hard for me not to talk. But I sometimes I look away and the kid so I starts typing on that.
The kids I work with, when someone see you, they're like, why are they here?
Oh, wait.
Like staring at them while they say it, and they're like the dirtiest. Why are they
Right.
here? I'm like, oh.
Well, and you know, and you know, and observers, whatever the role is, and observers are trained to not talk to kids at all, you know.
Mine are touchy.
What's that?
100%.
Mine are touchy. They like to go and like
Yeah,
Yeah.
who are you? Your shoulder, you're like, why do you?
So the kids in my class were super sweet. Like the first week I went on Monday and Tuesday, and then she told them like I was gonna be back the next week, and they were like, "We're gonna miss you."
Oh.
They're like hugging me.
You know, I mean, it can see that, you know, if, you know, I'm looking for you to practice, engage those kids and continue, you know, you're not there very much. You know, I recognize and build a relationship with those children. That's what it's. And if you know, you have all these goals for whatever your small group or your large group, and you don't meet all those goals, but you keep them engaged and interested, you're on the right track. Yeah, don't overthink. Other questions? Okay, so we don't need your laptops, so how about you close your laptops and let's do some reflecting on your clinical experiences, on your work experiences. So here are some guiding questions you can or cannot choose to follow. You know, if there's just something you want to talk about that you experienced or you observed, go for it. If you're not sure what to talk about, here's some guiding questions. What have you learned about your cooperating teacher? What have you learned about the children in the classroom? And feel free to share anything you want to share.
Well, most of my colleagues have been in the CPS for like 25 years.
Okay, okay.
I tend to hang out with a kindergarten teacher and a first grade teacher. I consider them like my mentor.
Okay,
They've been,
because they've been there a long time. Okay.
pretty much they themselves say it's a hands-on job.
Mhm.
Like you can't just like, oh yeah, it's perfect because they themselves, if it's a plan, it's supposed to be, you have to go to plan B, plan C, like you said. Like
Absolutely.
it's just like you have to get the rules, the responsibilities the first 2 weeks if you want to have your classroom managed. I'm like, oh, because they literally come in like little Tasmanian devils.
Well, they don't know. I mean, they don't know what the expectations are, and that's why we have to be very, I mean, I work with some teachers that did a lovely job that are, you know, strict at the beginning because of it's the beginning, and then they ease up on it.
And there are differences because I have colleagues that are like, oh, let's do the painting. And the other ones are like, no, I don't do the painting. So it really depends on like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was the one, I was the director where my teachers told me I was the one that broke all the rules. So, yeah, and I like the message. You know, and that's the other thing too, in your clinical experiences, in your workplace. And, you know, one of the benefits of you being with different teachers is you will learn more about yourself. You will learn, oh, I really like the teacher did that, or, you know, I don't know that fits into my style, my philosophy, and it really will help you to develop who you are and who you want to be as a teacher. And this is a great field because I think like the mentors of yours, there's always something to learn. Every group of kids, different teachers, there's just always something. What I learned. So what other thing you talk about classroom management?
Well, classroom management, pretty much like making sure they know their rules.
Yeah.
They teach them about safety, teach them
Yeah.
about responsibilities.
Yeah.
They like to give them little jobs so they feel like, hey, I'm in charge of like the door, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really look forward to having little jobs, like
Yeah.
little adults, kind of. And it's like kind of like little tigers sometimes. And they are, and they do get very handsy. They want to give you hugs and they want to show you the latest thing. And
Right.
you just have to, oh my God, that's the best picture ever. What is it? That's scribble. That's our.
Exactly. That's great. And you know, it sounds like this is the important thing too. You work in a school where you can't form these collaborations with other teachers, which is really important. You know, teachers, you know, can be very isolated, so it really is.
It's a big difference because I'm in fifth grade this year.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're just like, why did you find it? Everyone, this is one. I'll do that next year.
Yeah. But you probably see kids that you
Yeah.
Worked with before.
I see second grade as well. And I'm like, Miss Justine.
Yeah, see, that's nice too.
Yes, I know.
That's nice. You like it?
I like it a lot. It's just like every other student though says it. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to go down the hall.
But that says a lot. That says a lot. That's beautiful. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Who else, who wants to share next? Julia?
So what I learned about my cooperating teacher, she's very caring.
Okay.
I've known this for a while because I've worked with her, but she
Right.
cares about the kids along with like the staff members. So she'll check in on you, make sure you have like lunch, or she'll share her lunch with you.
Wow.
And yeah, she's really nice. And like with the kids, like she really cares about the kids, and like she'll like sit down on the floor with them instead of like in the rocking chair. And she really likes to interact with them like a ton with like books and stuff.
Right.
And she does like fun accents and everything. There's something else I was gonna say. I can't remember. She's just really fun with them, and like, oh, she shares like her emotions with them. So like if she's sad about something,
Yeah.
and like she like could be crying in front, like just to show them that it's okay to have emotions and stuff. So like she just is like she very like she just is big with her emotions.
Yeah.
Like she like overreacts her emotions a little bit just so they
So
can
on
see
purpose.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
So they
It's
can
a
see
teaching,
that.
It's a
Yeah.
modeling, teaching, yeah.
Yeah. And then what I've learned about the children in the class is they're so fun. They're really silly. Some of them are like they're really sassy, some of them. It's like really funny. Like they'll like sit down and be like, why are you in here? And like stuff. Because like I always mess with them when I'm in the other classroom. So now that I'm in there doing a little
It's
bit
different.
more, they're like, it's kind of strange. But they love playing with you, and they really love cutting. Like
Oh.
kids, like they're practicing cutting.
That's good.
So, and that's like their favorite thing. So they love cutting. Anything else?
But see, that's good, that you know they love cutting, so then you can take,
Yeah.
when you have future topics and lessons and themes, you know, you can think about the cutting and other fine motor activities that they would like. It's important to know what they're.
Yeah. And then, anything else? They call me Miss Jula. Instead of Julia, call me Miss Jula. Okay. It's cute. It's really cute. I don't know what else. I don't know. I like the way she runs her classroom.
Yeah.
Like,
Good.
yeah.
Right.
It's very nice.
Relationship based.
Yeah. And she like tries to get every kid to play with someone. So
That's her.
instead of like more of a, okay, go play wherever you want, she's like, okay, you two play here, you two play here. And then they can switch it up after a while, but at the beginning, like they have a friend to play with
That's
in
good.
a
I
specific
like that.
place.
You know, I mean, sometimes with this age too, they don't know how, and some kids it's more obvious than others, they don't know how to enter a play situation or start playing, so that's a good technique.
And it introduces them to new people.
Yeah.
So they don't just have like their two friends.
I think she's really big on social networks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice, thank you. Excited to go to all your, I'll be in all. By the end of next week. All right, who wants to share next?
I can go.
Okay.
So something I learned about my operating teacher is that he is 4 to 5 years into like actually teaching. So he also said like I'm like experimenting with other stuff, you know, like so that's why he's really big on like it's okay making mistakes.
Yeah.
And then the teacher, so our class is blended. So we have a sped teacher, and she's also been really helpful. Like even though she's not my cooperating teacher, she's been very engaging with me too. So she's been giving me tips also, and it's really nice to like get to know them both and how they work in the classroom. Something I've been learning a lot from them is how to deal with conflict. I think that's one of the big areas I've struggled, like
Conflict between kids?
yes. Because so there is some students who have very strong emotions and they are often fighting with each other. So actually today there was these building blocks and they got like really upset, and next thing you notice, you just see a kid going on top of another kid, and like it's just like piling up, and we're like, oh my gosh. And Mr. Sword, he handled it very well. He was like, let's not get on top of each other. He separated them, and he was able to say like, okay, you need to talk to me, like tell me what's going on, what happened. And even if like outside, like all of the other kids were like trying to explain, he would have to have like one of them say like one by one, tell them, okay, what happened. And it was all about like this toy car and the toy car and like how this is his and he brought it from home and they're taking it away. And he's mentioned, okay, well, we're not taking our toy cars out of our cubbies right now. I know you want to show your friends, but like we have to put it away. And then also with the other kid, he was like very like, we do not take the toys from and I was just observing all of it was very helpful to see how he is engaging with students' emotions.
Yeah.
Because often like there's also kids crying.
Yeah.
Because one of the sorry, it's because I say my friends a lot.
I was at like dance practice and I said friends, and I'm like, we're all 20. I don't know what I just said. Sorry.
But one of the students had told the other student that they're not their friends and they don't want to be friends, and she was crying because she was like, no, they said that they don't want to be my friends. So like watching him engage in how to correctly handle this was I feel like was an opportunity to me like to understand how I can also use these techniques in my own personal, like when I'm interacting with them, because sometimes they do like I'm like oh guys, no, no, and then I'm like, no, my friends, and then they'll be like, who are you to say no to us? So then they but they starting to listen to me a little bit more. However, it's been like very push and pull because today I did morning meeting and I was like talking, and one of the kids was using the pointer fingers because we count like 1, 2, 3, and then she saw me say, "Okay, yes, now like go ahead and answer the question," and Nell was like answering it, and then she would point it to another student because she saw me like doing it. She was like, "Oh, we're playing teacher," and I was like, "Oh, we're not playing teacher." So it was very interesting to see how to interact with students in that way.
So, but you know, those examples you gave, you break it down. Okay, so what you saw the teacher do is validating children's feelings, helping them to manage their feelings, identify problems,
Yeah.
you know, from their own perspectives. And it sounds a little bit of either helping them to resolve conflicts on their own or reminding them of things. So a lot goes into that very brief little conflict.
Yeah. But it was really crazy today. I feel like I was so confused because I'm there every Monday and Friday, and I've seen them very calm. I've seen them very excited, but today was like conflict after conflict, and I was like, oh my, like I've never seen like so many conflicts happen in one day. I was like, wow, like it's just 3 hours, and we've had this 2 incidents where
It would be interesting to know what your teacher thinks, like why there was so many.
yeah.
Some teachers get it, think Mondays. Monday,
Full moons.
full moon, yeah.
Those are better.
Yeah.
Yeah, weather changing, yeah.
So yeah,
Good.
that's something I learned
Good.
about. No, we are not. We're doing dinosaurs. So they're talking about dinosaurs this week. So yeah.
I'm doing Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, we're doing, you want to talk about that?
Um, for this whole week is Dr. Seuss since yesterday was his birthday. I'm on like it's kind of like the whole month-ish kind of Dr. Seuss. But this week we are reading Dr. Seuss books. And my lesson will be a Dr. Seuss.
Great. What have you learned about the future and or the children?
I'm amazed that they already kind of like when I'm there they know my name. Call me Miss Mandy or just Mandy. Yeah, I am amazed by that because I'm not there every day with them. Um, yeah, and then not all the 10 or 12 little kids are there every time I'm there. Like there'll be less than the 10. Um, yeah, and so I get to see the ones that is half day and full day. So I do see the full day ones later in the afternoon. Since that day I will be in the working, and now my son see their siblings on the because two of them siblings are in the toddler. Yeah.
Any strategies you learned from the teachers?
It seems it's like when I'm there, it's they have the routine, the schedule is just kind of like similar for each time I'm there. So, but I think it's like with the problems when the kids are kind of like have a problem with they're too loud with each other. When they're playing, um my proper teacher and her other teacher will try to calm them, separate them.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, and I think it was last Friday. When they were doing making the Goldilocks, the three little bears and the Goldilocks. There were five little kids at one, five or more at one little table. I was telling two of them because she said like two or three per table, but that one was five. I tried to tell two of them to go to another table. Um, but she said it's okay, just because most of them were quiet at that time. So yeah,
Right, so pay attention to how they're being. heard.
yeah,
Right, even though normally it would be two or three at the table, it was okay.
yeah. But they were quiet.
They were, it sounds like they were doing what they were supposed to be doing. So
Yeah,
not-
but like when they, yeah, but like when they were half of them was finished, some were like started to talk more because they weren't even finished with their activity. Yeah.
Wanna go? Camille?
So, it's very pathetic. Like I know I have energy when I'm with the kids and stuff, but like with her, I feel like like even today because I'm dancing and I'm very low energy. Like I try, really did I try, but I learned about the that they have
Mhm.
like circle time, table, like they get distracted by
So when they, so from circle time to, are they told what table to go to, or do they
yeah,
have a choice?
they're so like oh red table or the round table.
Maybe that's fine. Maybe if they had a choice, it would be a little different. Okay, good. Well, that's a good observation. That's a very, and when they transition, do they all get up at the same time, or is it one of them?
Yesterday, she like called up
That's
based
good.
on what's quiet.
Okay, okay. Did that work better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, right, teachers, sometimes it's trial and
Like,
error.
they all get up all together.
Right, right. Yeah, sometimes that does not work so well. Ingrid?
Where the big transition they're also in show where you want to go. I think it's the centers.
Right,
And then the other person.
right.
I want to also, I wonder like line up for, like they usually like bathroom, so they line up. They don't have.
But there's not one in the room. Right, right.
She was saying, okay, whatever, like what you did, whatever's very, whatever. Or not.
Yeah,
Or I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I think things like that, like ways they transition. But I want it makes everything go much more smoothly and
Yeah.
throughout her routine, even now they know what not. to do. Actually, so she's still like, it takes a while, like constant reminders, but
Right.
and she's like been like picking up she's learned her, and then she would go back. So I guess like you're so little, you don't
They do.
and that like I would say that that get boring to them, but
Right.
having something similar every single day, kind of like step into that.
Yeah.
Okay, right now we're reading the book, we're listening, and then later on we're gonna go play. So they kind of like that, and it's possible.
Right, I mean, there should be a consistent, predictable routine, and there are fun ways to transition, like you said. And then, with that consistent, predictable routine, you also want to bring in some novelty. Something fun, something different, like maybe, like who's wearing a sweater today, or but the next day, if you're wearing red, why not, or, something like that. So you want to bring in a little bit of novelty, but it is important to have that. Very nice, okay. All right, I think we have a couple people, yeah. Diana.
Right now that she said like about the routine days, that's how my teacher is too. So the kids know like during their morning what comes after the other. So every day someone talks about like how they feel, and then they ask someone in the group, and they have normally a song up there. And today it was like, where's your feeling song? And she has something new. Because after a couple of weeks, she switches up the songs.
Yeah.
And the link wasn't up there, and he noticed that right away. And she's like, oh, you're gonna see why. And after like, sometimes she plays a song, they're kind of like, yeah, we don't like this. It's like new to them, so they won't want to do it.
Right.
And then like after a couple days, they're like
Then
super
they get used
into
to
it.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
we really like it.
Right.
And then what I learned about my teacher is so we have lanyards, and she gave us like a stack of like pictures with like quiet, no biting, no running. And she's very big on like when we're in carpet time, like just tapping them and like showing them. So
Showing
it's
them
not
the
so
visual.
much like telling them.
Right.
But today we actually got a new student, and he actually doesn't speak English. So during like our carpet time, he was just kind of like giggling, and which like the TA said, which is good because at least he wasn't crying since it was his first day. He was like super excited, but I had to like constantly like remind him to like sit still and like sit up and like.
So those visuals, that's a good example of universal design. Some kids might really need it. Maybe, maybe their, English is not their home language, or they don't speak English, or they have some special needs. But the visuals, it can benefit everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, yeah. Getting so much out of people already. Yes,
I have this.
We have all these new things from my classes. We've had this like huge incident happen, so I'm just switching up my whole classroom. So I'm like writing all this down.
Yeah, that's great.
And a lot of times they will not pay attention to the word.
Yeah.
You have visual, they're like, oh, okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, if I may add too, because my former boss from way back when and my mentor sing us some music.
Yeah, music
Transitions. If there's a hard time with transitions, there's so many things you can do with music. Transitions and learning.
We have like dance parties.
Yeah,
So it's like
party.
we say clean up, and then like when they're done, they go on their litter and they just dance to the music that's playing until everyone's done.
Yeah, with my class, sorry. Yeah. With dismissal, they have like a goodbye song, which is so cute, because she has them like hold hands with someone. So when they're walking down the hall, and they're like speak really loud.
Oh.
And when she doesn't, they're like, where's our goodbye song? Like she her radio for us to like walk down the hall with them.
I love it.
It's just
Yeah.
reminds me how they're so sassy. I remember we were
yeah.
doing this booklet. So he's just trying to have them recognize, like, I see, and then they'll count the little bears, and then they'll be like 4, and then they'll be like brown. Okay, so I'm like doing it with one of the children, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I'll say the first sentence and point with me. So it'll be like, I see, and she says, I see 4 brown.
Oh.
She's like, I don't need you to guide me. She was like, I know this. And I'm like, girl, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
One of the girls had her hands on her hips, and I'm like, why do you have your sassy hands on your hips? And she was like, and she gave me the dirtiest look, and I was like, I'm so sorry. You should have, yeah, you do your thing.
There was one of my teachers that was a little girl in her class, 4-year-old girl, you know, time to clean up or whatever, time to go outside, and the child would say, talk it to the hand.
Yeah.
And it would drive my teacher crazy that she did that. They know how to push our buttons.
Yeah. Just like sassy.
They're smart, but you don't call it sassy, I'm gonna call it smart.
Smart with a two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, who wants to go next? Okay.
So, I think I mentioned this before about my teachers, does a very good job with like class events. And she like has to be super structured to get this group, so like, I thought, you know, putting names on their chairs is like something that was good. But,
yeah.
I guess that's something that they probably should do. And like, when they're walking down the hall, they're like little circles, like I've never seen, like, 3-year-olds like. And, she's big on manipulatives.
Yeah.
So they do a lot of like math and stuff, and, haven't really seen them play with like, it's like, they have a kitchen, but I never like the time that I get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's a different time of day.
But they're like super independent too, because she will have like sensory tables open. And then we're all like working with kids, at the tables, and then there's just it's like playing, you know, or, with me when I used to work at a preschool center, I felt like I needed to make sure that I was monitoring, making sure they're not putting things in their mouth.
Sure.
things
Yeah.
like that. But it is like closer to the end of the school year, so maybe, you know, there's the custom.
Right, and they're older now, so but they're less likely. It's not impossible, but they're less likely to put something around up their nose or something. And you know, again, it's March now, so it's near the end of the school, you know, whether it's a year-round program or a school year program, it is near the end of the year. But I think as you're all demonstrating, these children still need reminders. And to reinforce them when they're doing something the right way or maybe doing something the wrong way. They still.
Yeah, she's really good about like singing a little song to get them to sit down.
Yeah.
Transition.
Yeah.
And that immediately. Listening and.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And you mentioned sensory too, so that's a nice way for social and emotional regulation to have those sensory feelings. Nice. Okay, last but not least.
Something that I noticed my is that she incorporates the lesson belief throughout the entire classroom instead of just leaving it for a certain time. So during certain time, right now we're learning about pets, so they'll discuss pets, if pets, who has pets at home. And then they'll go and have free play, like play with little pet figures in the walk area. They change their whole kitchen area to be like a vet's office. Today, my mentors were painting their faces and it's like cats and bunnies. It's just like that's so fun. I love that. Learn about pets.
Yeah, and that's a good example of novelty. When you take your dramatic play in other areas, you have those areas reflect the pet study or whatever study you're doing. And it does, keeps them really engaged. Have you ever heard of prop boxes? I mean, you know, they used to be more popular. No one, have you ever heard of those? So, I've known teachers, you know, it was a long time ago where they made prop boxes. So maybe they would have like a pet prop box or a cooking prop box or a building, you know, whatever it may be. And then, whenever they would do that theme or that study, they would bring the prop box into their dramatic play area or other areas. And you know, and when you create, you know, and if you have other teachers doing it with you, you can have a whole collection of these prop boxes if you have storage for them. And then when you're doing that study, you just pull it out and do exactly what you were describing. That's really nice. That's really nice. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other thoughts? You got some ideas for your own classroom now?
Six things so far.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that was what it was called, but my one colleague, her name is, she does it when she gets chicks. We have little eggs.
Yeah.
And she'll make like a little chick farm. She's
Yeah.
like, oh, so I'm going to the farm today.
Yeah.
and We're gonna have eggs. I'm like, huh? But the eggs are not gonna be born for 3 weeks. So we're gonna see the different stages. And then she had what you just said.
That's great. That's amazing. I had a teacher, now she was, she went above and beyond with this. She was very artistic. She didn't do it all the time because it was too much work, but whatever the theme was, I can't even think of an example. She would get a sheet, big sheet, like a twin bed sheet or whatever, and put it over the dramatic play area, but like cut a door out in the sheet and like draw scenery on it. So I don't know, like if it's a pet study, maybe she would draw like a veterinary office. She didn't do it all the time because it was a lot of work, but oh my God, it was too much. Yeah, she was artistic.
Yes.
Not everybody, and it takes love.
Yeah, so my colleagues said, do you like singing? I'm like, no. They're like, you'll be an early child.
You have to sing. The only child that ever told me to stop singing was my own child.
They'd be like, why are you singing all the time? And I'm like, it's because you guys don't listen. Because we have that playful. And sometimes I feel like I'm their sibling because we're just always like, they're so sassy with me, and I'm like, this is not how you. Yeah. But yeah, so actually the whole creative and like stuff, it's funny because before like choosing this career, I was always someone who like created props for like family parties. So if you're having a Candyland party, all right, I'm gonna get a mop, I'm gonna grab the stick, I'm gonna make a lollipop, a giant lollipop. And I've done this for like all of my family parties. And I was just like, when I was set to be a teacher there, my sister told me, oh, you're gonna be the ones that are very extra, the ones that are very like wanting to make their classroom very like interactive. And I was like, yeah, like that's something that's also like leading me to being a type of teacher where I'm like creating this world for the kids. And so just hearing that is just funny to me because I'm always like, oh my God, like I'm taking things and inspirations from everywhere. Yeah.
Well, you know, we steal ideas from each other.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of early childhood teachers are savers, you know, it's like, oh, I can do something with that. I'm gonna save that. You know, we at home, we cleaned out our laundry room, and we're putting everything back. And I had a craft shelf, you know, I had like glitter and pop, you know, and it's like, my husband's like, you want to get rid of it? Well, no, my niece might come over. You know, maybe I'll bring it to play, you know, maybe I'll do something with pops. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, my sister's always for her kids like assignments, she'll be like, oh, you have pom-poms in your craft station in your room, right? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And she's like, so can you hand it over? And I'm like, I have popsicle sticks, I have everything you want, just look in.
Listen, I'm not telling, especially as a clinical student, I'm not telling anybody to spend, or even as a teacher, I'm not spending your money. There's a lot of things we get dollars for it.
Mhm.
A lot of it, you know, you have to use your creativity, and you can have parents donate. That's, you know, it can be recyclables, and you know, I mean, I've known people like these dramatic players, and I've known now some teachers like this, some teachers do not like this, where they have parents donate empty food boxes, like cereal boxes, and they put them on dramatic play. So some teachers like to do that, some teachers don't. So again, it's up, you know, it's really up to you. But you know, you can have somebody donate something, and with a little creativity, who knows? And steal ideas.
Yeah, I'm always doing these on the internet. I'm like, oh, I'm taking that for me later on. But-
Colleagues say, oh, Pinterest, oh, that was good.
Right.
We're gonna do that. Okay, we're gonna dip the little
Right.
filter into the watercolors. We're gonna see what happens. I'm like, okay.
Right.
I'm gonna do that.
Even for some of our classes, we had to create lesson plans, and then sometimes I'll take it and create alternations, and then I'll send in the like this was the original lesson plan. This is my lesson plan from like changing it.
I mean, we do. We all get ideas from each other, and a lot of it depends on who you are and the teacher, what you want in your classroom, and it depends on the children,
Yeah.
what they're interested in. Because you know, you might do something, and I've done this with 1 year with kids that they love it. And then you go to do it again and nobody wants it.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, so, right, so that's, yeah, so, yeah, it's fun, yeah, it's fun. You're gonna be one of those savers.
I know.
Her class was filled with sort of, she wouldn't throw any, but she was very creative. She
Yeah.
made puppets out of all
Trust
sorts
me,
of-
my crafting station needs like I need to reorganize it because I'm always constantly adding things, and I'm just like I need to stop.
No, I get you. I have a colleague, like all of a sudden she took brown paper from like the box and like, look at it, and she's like, I'm making a barricade. I'm like, oh, okay, we're making barricades.
Yeah, and you know what?
The brown paper is perfect for like trees.
Yeah, yes.
So perfect.
The big mural paper, and you know, there is, you know, my school, when I was a director in Deerfield, well, it didn't matter where it was, but we were not far from Apt, you know, that store, you know, that store Apt with all the electrical appliances. And they would get a refrigerator box donated sometimes. It was amazing. What they painted it to make one thing, and then they painted it to make something else. It could be a veterinarian's office, it could be a lemonade stand, it was a voting booth once.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kids love, you know, toys. Give them a-
Even no, yeah. So like my niece, she's in kindergarten, so I'm actually learning a lot from her teacher
Yeah,
because I'll be looking at her stuff and I'm like, okay, that's actually smart. I like it. They have a teddy bear, like a classroom teddy bear, and it comes with like a little like no, like please wash me. I love taking showers, and it's like the
Oh.
washing machine. And then my niece was like, can you make a hat for it? And I'm like, dude, I'm gonna have to spend all weekend making this hat. And I literally made a hat and a matching little like sweater. And I was like, oh, I'm giving it to the teacher. And the teacher was like, are you sure you don't want it back? And I was like, no, I'll keep it. It's okay. Like, yeah, I was like, you can keep it for you.
That's good too, because you just made me think, as a teacher, you should find out what talents the parents have. You know, you might have a parent who likes to sew,
Yeah.
and maybe they would do something. too. And that's a way for families to.
Yeah, because I was like, I know how the classroom, your classroom is big. I'm like, just keep it. I was like, go ahead. Like, they have a little wardrobe. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so it is 5:15. If you want to take a stretch break, a bathroom break, feel free. I brought in, I mean, I know we have them on D2L, but I have 3 copies, smaller copies of the Illinois Early Learning Guideline. Go ahead and get with your partner or partners and work on your infant lesson plans. I will check in with each group, and then you'll just, you know, you'll present it to the rest of us. I think we've determined that we're not all going to be behaving as infants. So really just, you know, describe to us what you're going to do. Give us some examples of what you would say new. Remember, this is an infant lesson plan, so you should do about choose the age or age range, somewhere between about 5 or 6 months up to 14 months, no older than 14 months of age. Because next time we get together, you'll be toddlers. And I'll come and I'll check in with each group and we'll share. And then, wow, I'm not gonna see all of you. Well, I will see you. Because we're doing the observation, but in class for 3 weeks.
Together. Yeah.
So, I have a few things to go over before we wrap up our day. So go ahead, take a short break if you prefer. And, get with your partner or partners, yeah.
The lesson plan you wanted in the template too, or?
No, thank you for asking
Yeah.
that. No. The infant and the toddler lesson plan, you will use the modified lesson. plan. Not use that 5 million page lesson. Not use that. Use the modified infant toddler lesson plan and make sure you use the Illinois Early Learning Guidelines.
My cooperating teacher was like, I don't want that lesson plan either. Use the modified one.
Well, and many teachers will tell you when they see Northeastern's lesson plan, they will say, no, you're never.
Yeah. Yeah.
College, she's like, Dr. Mitchell, what's there? She's like, tell her I said hi.
Is it the same lesson plan?
Pretty much.
Yeah, she's strict on that one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not. mean, as long as you have all the necessary, as long as you have all the necessary elements. So you can do. All right, yeah, go ahead, take a break and get with your partner and help, and if you want to move in one of these hard copies, feel free.
So Nancy and I have ours done, but now we have to change 16 months to 14 months.
Oh, okay. Well, this probably will not be a big shift. Oh, and here's the other thing. Well, you know what, I'm gonna wait for everybody else. Okay. Yeah, did anybody work on them already? So you and Nancy, yeah, some, okay, if you did, this, you were not expected, so don't worry.
Oh, it's a beautiful day for it.
So many.
I'm not sure it's like that. It doesn't look like I have time to make things right now.
I don't know if you found out this teacher $200 for a whole entire year. So a lot of my colleagues do like Amazon
Yeah.
wish for
Yeah. I want to make a wish list too. But that's for my family when I graduate.
One of my students here graduated last May. I don't know if she created a Facebook page or something, but she asked if there were teachers. She got a job as a kindergarten, preschool or kindergarten. She asked if any teachers or retired teachers had things to donate. She ended up having a party at her house and she invited me. I went there and she said, I want to show you something. I went in her basement and it was filled with things that teachers, all retired teachers and other teachers do. It was amazing. It was amazing. Anybody want these? I mean, I know you've got them online. It's up to you.
Something wrong. Okay, I'm supposed to do now. Because I signed up for an appointment and it was like, oh, enter your email. And it said at NEIU that you have to Gmail. She doesn't exist.
But by accident.
So you said you did yours for 15 or 16 months, so what, I'll wait for Ray back.
We did 10 to 16 months.
Okay. So what I said to the other group, the other class, I'll say it, you can take your infant lesson and you can revise it for topics for your next lesson. So it'll be a similar lesson plan, maybe, maybe you'll have more materials or a little more language or something.
Yeah, because she had plans this weekend, I had plans, so I was like, I'll try, if you bring the materials, like, okay. And then we like swapped.
That's great.
emails and-
That's great. The other class, they all, it was funny because we did what we always did.
Right.
And then I said, all right, you can work on your lesson plans now. All right, take a break. And somebody said, we don't do it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's present. We can go home early and there you go.
It was my 8-year-old's 9th birthday. She's a lead dating, so she got the whole weekend. So that's why I'm up for, because I just want to sleep.
So what did you do for her birthday?
We went to Urban Air on Saturday, pretty much all her class, all 22 8-year-olds. So yes. So it's very fun.
It's fun. My niece said she just turned out.
But
And
it's
she did something like that too. For her birthday.
like speed jumping around, this energy, yeah, something that's good. 2 hours, and it's like, oh, 2 hours. Yeah, like, go ahead, go to high school, go shopping, there, safe and sound. Exactly. Yeah. And also, they're like, Miss Justine, we're here. I'm like, I don't.
Wait, so is she at the school that you work at?
Yeah. My eldest doesn't care for it because she's in 4th grade and she's having.
She's getting to that age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can see that.
she's like, I got in trouble. I was like, yeah, the teachers and my colleagues are gonna tell me. You know?
I can see that when they get a little bit older. When they're young, they probably really like it. But when they get older,
So
that's.
she's going into, middle school and now she's testing independently.
Yeah. But there are perks to be where your children. And I had my kids at 7, so they were younger.
At first, like, I decided that probably didn't go. Come on, I'm sure to say. And things are, well, I had a call, I know when I called my mom's the office, I'm at work.
Oh, boy.
Now I don't exist, I'm in the hall, and she's like,
Oh, yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. That's so. Yeah. Mandy, we're all set for tomorrow. Okay, so. So I'm gonna see somebody before you. Oh. No, you said the kids were going outside. They were, okay. So I'll be by you. Thursday. And then we'll meet at 11. I'm making forward. Okay. And do you have a lesson plans to say? Okay. Right, right. But you yeah, I mean, I'm not
Yeah, like positive. Like team time. Okay.
I know. All right, so. Good, thank you. Yeah, don't stop here. Please, come in. Yes, so I saw Christina and Violet, and I said to Christine, I said, you work at the same place, I couldn't remember where she was, I was at Wesley. And I'm like, oh, I said, I'm going there, I said, I forget when I'm going there.
It's her classroom, actually. Christina's classroom.
It's serious.
Yeah, it's Teresa. Who I,
Oh, she's your
Shadowing?
VT.
yeah, and then, because Christina's just an aide,
Oh, that's so
but, it's her
and then
classroom.
Violet was like, I work there too.
It's her classroom. So,
Well, I said to her, like, look for me when I go there.
you'll see.
And I-
She'll probably come to the library.
I said, no, Maria, she's like, oh, she's my best friend. I'm like, "Oh, yes."
But we are in the annex.
I put everything in my phone today. I know. But I have to go to the main office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to check it. I know. the main check it.
Yeah, the main office is like. Looking for.
All right, so main door, first one, yeah, annex, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure because it's like.
Have I been there? Oh, I've been there. Yeah, you know, I mean, I probably won't remember what the school looks like until I'm there, but yeah,
Just wanted to make sure.
yes, we're all set. Yeah, please come in.
On the paper, I just know, the Heather last week, maybe on 6 months. Like, about her email, the application email, I know my water. There's for the.
Oh, so do, are you saying we have her walk?
When I.
was like-
Before the-
I was like,
all of them updated it, but like on the, and the website for Northeastern, there's the Yahoo one.
Okay.
But on the watermark.
Oh, it's correct in water.
With the Gmail.
Okay, and I wonder what I had, so Gmail is the current one? Okay. She doesn't use any ID. She's a frozen. It's a different. Okay, I'll check.
It's a big, it's still the same. It's
Sorry.
from Yahoo.
All right, I'll check. Maybe when I'm there tomorrow with.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, so you have like, I talked to her last Wednesday.
I actually love it. So. I was really
Sent me
nervous.
an email, but.
Oh, okay. All right.
I didn't get anything.
I was really nervous because you said it was so
No,
hard to adjust.
no email, I didn't get.
Okay, because I've been on one for. Me too. So I was like really nervous.
It's from a email, just like,
What was she emailing?
would be like the new email.
Oh, so she gave you her new address?
Okay.
She mentioned it, but I told her that, my lesson plan will be the
But she knows your lesson plans. All right, great, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. And
I'll go for the 3.
yeah.
I said that's 15 minutes.
What age?
Say like,
Yeah.
Oh. So you said you could go.
I'm not sure. That's like, well, I don't
Really needs to.
I would say 8 months.
You mean you're always at the.
I would say 8 months.
Yeah. Like you said, Friday, but for this month, the director of the daycare did say to like.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I still.
We had the same. Okay, well, maybe we can find out tomorrow. You know, the important thing, you have to do 50 hours. The important thing is you get that done, you know, between now and mid-April. So, well, why don't I let you go work on it? Figure that out. Yeah, why don't, yeah, 'cause we'll figure it out.
I took a picture.
Wait. You need me to lead it?
Really? You're writing down the standard that we're doing.
That is.
What's on the printer?
Oh, yeah, well, they're like.
Yeah, M.
Yeah.
S. H. E. N.
H-E-N.
Yes. I should be the only one. Any idea?
Can't remember, so we're just going back to the standards to find.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure. Now, what are you gonna do?
We're gonna do like sensory.
Okay,
They can like put it on the table.
okay, okay. Okay, nice, okay,
Can I see?
so,
No,
Yeah.
your email is on here. Your email works. It's just I don't know how to send out.
I mean, you know, it could be.
Do you know how
Yes.
how you would send it?
Where is the thing?
Yeah.
Is there the share option? Oh, up there.
Sorry, I'm not used to Word. I'm used to Google Docs.
You need to check in with them or not yet? You're okay?
Yeah.
Are you able to pull it up on and share it on?
Let me download.
What we were doing 7 to 18 months, 7 to 14 months. Children demonstrate the ability to use their emotions through creative expression. Displays music activities of performing.
Did you find it on there?
Well, we can have another.
Oh, the trash.
You are what? What's yours?
A R driver at NEIU.edu.
There's a for maybe 5 minutes for yeah. We need one for 5 minutes. Here, yeah, there's these stuff.
Awesome. Okay, so our learning standards, what?
The standard is this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many months is the infant?
7 to 14.
I think she said it's for one infant.
I was fine, we got the 6th grade math.
It was only for like is it a class of infant.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 to 14. How many? Like 10. 10, 5.
You're maybe 10.
10?
Are there 10 infants in a
Yeah.
room?
Around the like if it's the and then like if it's like maybe more, it's maybe 10 sometimes.
Awesome.
I know we.
Oh, okay. Mhm. What is your plan right now?
So maybe we can read some. A music book?
Music of that station thing. So like in the staging area, can be for that, and then like there's some trade area that's gonna be lumber. So they have like all these animals that they're gonna. Something. Every time I think about it, it's like, little area table, yeah, the guy taking me. I know.
The really young people should have their babies, big world music, sports.
You gonna read the book?
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna read the book.
Because we need an introduction, so we read the book.
Like in private.
We can have a demonstration of the teacher playing music.
Hmm.
So maybe we'll all have, what's it?
Some those are the some shaking ones.
Oh, shakers.
Words and actions, yeah.
I think for the infant, it's mainly the small kind of music.
Like a little maraca. These are cute. The teacher can demonstrate how to play the maraca, and then she'll pass out the maracas to the class, and they'll all have time to explore the maracas. It's hard because they can't follow a maraca game yet. Like they can't
Yeah.
follow what can.
I think most of the time I see these little piano like thing. This is what they mainly have without the sticks. They have this little instrument for them tummy times. Where they have this.
Oh, so maybe the teacher can demonstrate multiple instruments. So that one, the maracas, cymbals, and then the babies can just try doing the maracas because it would be easier.
What's your point? Oh. You miss your class?
And this one,
Like being just in your class and then you're doing your,
yeah, but I'm only in that every week.
oh,
So it's just, we share.
oh,
Scattered.
Should I explain why? We didn't learn about it. We're doing 8 months, right?
8 full months.
It's 18 months.
Oh, what did I think? What,
So
so,
7 to 18. Okay, yeah, I don't know, I just grabbing it. I was just saying that.
it's like the same.
Don't do this chapter here. Okay, in the range. I'm in the range.
Are we supposed to fill out the reflection part?
No,
Okay.
so after you do your presentation, individually fill out the reflection. Sorry.
No.
Oh.
I haven't been.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I just had like. Your
And it's the
reaction.
color red.
Yeah.
Red. Oh.
I'm looking for like a rhyming, like a nursery rhyme.
Mhm. Oh, when doing the music.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I just have in my. Project. Oh, so good. You want me to put it on? Think about like if you don't have it, or like thought you're having this like. You want it?
No, it's good. I'll check in with everybody about 6 o'clock. Right. No.
She's a no. This is the makes the sound. And this is a maraca, and this is a maraca makes this sound, and this is how you play it.
That's why.
And then we could pass the maracas up to the kids, and then we could have like a maraca dance party where we could place video. Or we could play music of someone playing the maraca, and the kids will also play their maracas. And when the video is paused, the kids will have to pause. It's like a freeze dance, but they're also jumping around and playing the maracas. And I think that's as much as we can do with infants. I don't know. What do you think?
It's not her fault, it's my fault.
Yeah, I think that's mainly.
John was a good teacher. Oh, yeah, I like him too.
Oh.
John Armour.
Yeah.
I like him. I
But
had
the
it,
only, I think I hated more the subject than.
I had it, but it was during COVID, so it was like the real phone. Yeah. But he was. I don't know. I think I didn't even get the same class, because I had a better. It was all right, but I struggled a lot. I thought that grammar, like grammar, and I'm over it. I'm done. Wait, are you doing this? That's all. Then some, yeah. I'm gonna do this on like. What are you, did you already go into this? How would that, I could go into Thursday. There's another. I'm not. To be honest, I'm back. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a title for the lesson?
Do you have any ideas for the title?
I was really pleased because I was like, my, but sounds like yeah. Wait, when you got there, no. Because I asked her, I knew that there was some planning of what would be for me. And I was like, I'm planning, so I was like, she's like, oh, you just do it.
What do you expect students to do?
Right. Yeah. She went with it. Yeah. But, yeah, no.
What would be the back? So we would play the music. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Your observation that you mentioned. Yeah. And like, it really hyped me up about it, and I was like, I'm gonna try it.
Because if I said it, they have.
Something about, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, standard.
Yeah. So it's like. Oh, we should do extra things. I only have a dollar, so it's like my next steps. The instructional. I look at.
Look, there's this one on the table.
But when you put it there, there's one on this one.
I got it. That's why I couldn't done before, because I used to take 5.
I remember the.
I'm probably gonna take 5 next, like, I'm taking a break this semester, I took 5 last semester. And I've been taking it for 2 years now, 5 times. I'm seeing you next. Yeah. I'm 30. No. You're gonna put me there. I'll be here. Yeah. We're like 30.
What do you think that was a focus?
And I know,
Because
yeah,
it has to be measurable, but how do you measure someone expressing their emotions through music? I was gonna say children will be able to express excitement using a musical instrument. How do you measure that?
The excitement.
Or maybe the children will be able to recognize.
I know beer, yes. Right. And I have to go to the main office and then I go across to the other building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that.
That I know, because I've been there a while.
I think that's the focus, right?
Mhm.
And then what will the objectives be for it?
I bet, right? Depending on the scene, right? You're walking. So I'm like, I don't want to walk over there and you're like, you know how lucky you are to have a class that has school that's like 10 minutes.
Oh,
away
yours is
from
10 minutes from your house?
Yeah, walking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
but
good.
then if I use his car.
You're done.
Yeah, I'm like.
Yeah, but then if you have the park car, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you all set? Yeah. Okay. I'm much more time do you need?
Maybe like, I would say maybe 8 more minutes.
That's fine. That's a good estimate. Okay.
The material.
When?
Once it hits 7 o'clock, maybe 8. It's like faster.
No, but yeah, that's not funny. That is like.
Like it's not. So. But this is the one that I want to hear. No, it's like. Is this like the one they wanted like right? Yeah, sure. This is like 3 months. When they lost me there. I was going to say something. Sorry. Yeah. I wish to get that too. Like, well, it takes a little bit. It's just nice. I thought it. I'm saying, like, I missed it. That's good. Separated. But I'm the only one participating. She's like, I'm not participating. Saying that we could be in a, like, we could still sit next to each other. It's like, compete and move together. And I was like, oh, like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, it's not. Like, you can do it. And it's just, you're not. Her lesson. And the way she's explained, it's like, it's like, yeah, we're like,
That's pretty.
you're going to test the answers, right?
Oh, use Zoe,
Yeah.
the book, the instruments.
Wonderful.
And maybe like a radio, play like a tambourine. The teacher will observe the student.
When I saw the graph, I'm like, oh. That's what telling me that. This is not it. I was like, man. I'm really feeling yeah. Yeah. No, whatever, that's what I can try. Yeah. I know, I'm like the best thing about that.
Thank you.
Mine's really, my.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will be that. On you. That's what you get.
Maybe it could be like the teacher will explain to the students that when we're excited and we're happy, we're gonna play the maraca really, really fast. But when we're sad, then we'll play it really, really slow. And then when we're angry, we'll play it really, really hard.
Mm.
Teacher will observe the way the student plays the maraca.
Yeah, the two students.
And in about 2 minutes, we'll come back together.
Great success.
Okay, all right, before we start, we have 3 groups. We're gonna have 1 group next time we come together that will present as well. So, with these lesson plans, as with all of your lesson plans, your preschool and then your toddler one that you'll do in a few weeks, do not submit it to D2L until you implement it, or in the case of today, present it. So then you can write your reflection. And then you can submit it. Same thing with your preschool lesson plans. Don't submit those to D2L until after you reflect and, talk about feedback. So just so everybody is aware of that. So for today, so we have 3 groups that you're going to share. You'll share with each of us. For us, for the audience, what I would like everybody in the audience, after each group presents, if you can share a strength from the group, and if you have a suggestion, or if you have any questions. Any questions for me? Okay, so which group would like to go first? Anyone? Okay, all right. Okay. Whatever you want.
I think mine.
I have to get an adapter. I have an adapter, but when I tried, what did we try? When I tried, connecting my laptop, I had issues. That's why I'm using this one. Well, come on up. Right. I have some adapters. So. So I have this. And
I think we have.
Yeah. Well, hold on. The other computer. When I tried before. Friday.
The book. Yes. Yep. Move them around the dance.
Oh, and what size of it is it you?
Are we good? So we're still gonna read the stuff. Read the book and then we play the music.
We're gonna read the book. Who's gonna introduce the instruments? The different instruments. The teacher will then do the class and like she will demonstrate how to play the instrument based on her.
From using the projector, why don't you email it to me?
So she'll be playing the maracas and she'll be like, I'm really happy, so I'm gonna play really fast. And then I'm really sad, so I'm gonna play really slow and so on. And then she'll do like a follow the leader game. So that's basically like if you're happy and you know it.
Oh yeah, that's all. What the maracas?
Yeah, so if you're happy, you shake your I don't know. If you're sad, let's play a slow song. And if you're mad, let's play a hard song.
Come up by themselves.
Like, I'm not nervous. So this is our lesson plan template for our infant. The infant will be around 7 months. Our class. And then it would be small. For standard, our children demonstrate the ability with processors, multi-sensory stimuli in their environment. With up to 45, and children demonstrate strength, coordination. Our objectives were students will be able to feel different textures through gross and fine motor movements with little to no error. Students will be able to surf around while feeling different textures with 60% accuracy. Students will be able to flip through a book and feel different textures. So materials, sensory pad, table or sensory book, sensory bags. And there's pictures of like materials and setup with and then
What's it tell us? What's a sensory cat?
so it's like filled with different things. So
Okay.
for example, some is like slime or
Or
some is
water
like
or
water.
something.
So
Okay,
water
right.
liquid,
Got it. Got it.
And then these are the books. So like, you know, like how animal books sometimes have birds.
The different textures.
Yeah, and then some are crinkled ones.
Nice.
And then our procedure would be, begin by showing the infants the pads and like drawing their attention to them.
showing the colors and show that like you're feeling them so that they're like, oh, she's feeling it, like I'll feel it too. And then like go around, have them feel it, and then put it where it belongs. So either like on top of the table for those who are ready for surfing, and then on the floor for those who are just crawling or sitting up straight. And then as a teacher, like you're just helping guide them through. And while you're doing that, you're communicating with them and just commenting on each pad that they're touching, and you're like you're emphasizing your reaction to them. Like, oh, this purple pad, like, and say how it feels, like it's so fluffy, it's so squishy. Oh, feel this, and you're like acting really like into what you're doing, so the infants are really into it as well.
Yeah, and another example is you just describing your actions too, like, oh, you're touching the purple pad. Oh, yes, it's squishy, you're tapping, just so they are understanding of like, language development. Different actions that they're kind of regards to our standards, with fine motor skills, we added that because of what they will be touching and stuff, and then one of the activities was flipping through a book. And then the gross motor skills was the surfing for those who are able to stand and from on the table to feel.
If they start to disassociate or if going on, you can switch to different books. You can sit there with the books and do it that way. A transition, it depends on what you're transitioning into. If you're transitioning into another activity, you can start bringing that one over to where you guys are working, or start bringing it in. When they're done, you start bringing them over to the next thing.
And then our observation would be a checklist, just, getting from the domain, so like physical domain, and we can gravity for object. Being from their arms and legs for those who are surfing, and then say their toys or like, you know, the pad, shaking them or maybe throwing them, and you know, and then like they're pointing objects they want to grab, so like, oh, look at this pen, I want this one, like pointing not okay, and then exploring objects.
Good. All right, so audience, can people share, something comes up for somebody, a strength that you observed from their presentation? Penny.
It's like the ideas, and also like including books.
I liked, and how you pointed out, they could be standing or they could be lying on the ground. So it, because, there's a range of those motor abilities too.
I like how this is like a contained way for kids to explore something that would usually be really messy.
Anyone else? I can't tell from that picture, but actually maybe. You made me think of this. So like if there's paint or something messy on there, it looks like, because this is what it was making me think of, you could put saran wrap over it, like plastic wrap over it, so they're not getting messy, but they're still. Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like.
We call it clean painting. We do that a lot with paper,
Yes.
the bag, with paint in it.
Yeah. Yeah, right. You can get a Ziploc bag and just they could squish it around. Yeah, yeah. And I like how, the language, you were talking about, you were narrating. Who signed out? You were me.
No, I just did it.
Oh, is that supposed to be me?
Yeah. We're all done.
All right, okay. But I like how you were narrating what you were modeling and you're putting words to actions, what you're doing, they're doing. The other thing I was thinking about, as they touch different textures, whether it's in a book, and you have a lot of materials, which I really like, but whether it's in a book or whatever else, you could look at their faces. Oh, it looks like you really like that because you're smiling, or, oh, you didn't like that one, it's cold, or, those kinds. So you can attach emotions to it too. but I like the variety. Very nice. Any suggestions or questions? You don't have to have a suggestion. And then, as far as transitions, I mean, honestly, typically, my thinking is with an infant, you really don't have to transition. You're doing it as long as, right, you're doing it as long as they're interested, and then when they leave, and maybe you do bring in more books or more materials or something, but, it ends when they leave, right? Yeah, no, I think it was great. It's great, very nice. Thank you. Does anyone else need the, projector? You don't have to. No, no, you don't have to. Okay. Very good. Sorry. Walking your way.
Lesson plan also, for sensory integration with texture. Very famous concept of basic ones and, to the free event. Our guidelines will be for physical development and health. Develops decreasing the flow of large muscles for movement and integration. Cognitive development demonstrates system freedom from them, language development.
For our focus and objectives, we have infants will explore different texture materials, soft, rough, bumpy, smooth, using their hands. Infants will react to sensory input by showing preference, making sounds, or expressing emotions. Infants will practice early language development by listening to descriptive words and engaging in babbling or jumping.
So for materials, we like soft blanket, sponges, bubble wrap, silk, fabric, sandpaper, rubber mats, bins, and trays for organizing materials. And then using simple descriptive words like for word cards. Let's say soft, rough, bumpy for teachers to use.
Okay, so our introduction is gather infants in a safe and open space with a soft mat. Introduce the materials, letting infants see and touch them while describing each texture. The activity steps would place different texture items on the floor and allow infants to crawl and walk on them. Encourage the infants to touch and explore each item with their hands and feet. Use a simple language to describe how each material feels. This is so soft. Feel this bumpy one. Observe infants' reaction and allow time for independent exploration.
So we just brought like sample
Right.
textures.
Got it.
Soft blanket. Samples of what other types of textures would have. So bubble wrap.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Sandpaper. Sponge.
We have a backup plan. If the infant is not interested in touching the textures, we would try placing a favorite toy on the textured surface to encourage interaction. And as a transition plan, we move from the structured exploration to free play with familiar toys to ease the transition. And for closure, we will gather materials while engaging with the infants in a short song about textures. This is the way we feel the song, etc. And encourage the infants to choose a favorite material and touch it one last time. For assessment, observational checklist, noting infants' reactions and engagement levels. Teacher notes on which textures each infant preferred. A video and or photo documentation is allowed to reflect on its response. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, strengths.
I think the strength we have for the closing, activity, like, even like this reassuring, like, this is what happens with babies, it's very good because it was like repetition. And I just like that you're incorporating.
I like the songs too. And
Yeah,
I like, how the objects, like the different textures, you have really real life objects.
Anyone else? Strengths? Yeah, I like that too with the objects. And you know, the whole thing is with infants, often with toddlers, well, they put stuff in their mouth, right? So we want to make sure there's not choking hazards. And the reality is, like, I'm thinking of the styrofoam. You are right there as the adult with them, you're engaging with them, you're supervising. So, you know, if they have some teeth and they're gonna chomp down on the styrofoam, I mean, you're right there, you know, so you're gonna keep them safe. I really appreciate with both of them, you know, how you're letting them explore the environment, different materials. And you are clearly demonstrating the importance of putting words to your actions and their actions and introducing some great vocabulary words. Nice, nice. Anyone else? Suggestions, questions? Okay, and thank you for bringing those in. Yeah. That's nice for us too, right? We need to feel different things. We need to feel different. And, you know, and I like the song too, and right, so I think you had a good idea, you know, if they're not interested, maybe bringing a toy that they're interested in over there. And again, with infants, often with toddlers as well, you gotta kind of go with the flow. You have it set up, and if you're showing some interest in it, you know, maybe they're gonna crawl over or toddle over there, and they're gonna do it. And then leave when they're done. Yeah. All right, lady, you're up. You need my computer? No.
So our lesson title is using music to express emotions. We would do this with 14-month-old children. Okay. And it could be also activity.
Our standard is children demonstrate the ability to convey ideas and emotions through creative expression. And the focus and objective is when given the maracas, the students will play the maraca based on the emotions that they are feeling. When they're sad, they'll shake it very slowly. When they're happy, they'll shake it quick. And when they're angry, they're gonna shake it very hard. And for the materials, will be reading a book called The Baby's Big World Music Book. We're gonna have a xylophone, tambourines, and maracas, and a radio for extra music for them to hear.
In order to teach this activity, the teacher will sit in the front of the room and play one of the instruments. And it will catch the teacher will read the Baby's Big World Music Book in accordance with their children to read it. The teacher will introduce the xylophone, a tambourine, and some maracas. The teacher will demonstrate, concentrate, and describe the sounds that you hear. Happy, I'm gonna play my fast. So as the same as before. So there's a happy. Play your fast really, really fast. But this will be more of a super fast. Then the teacher will go on tired to show her how they're feeling in the marathon. So the teacher will go, maybe how are you feeling today? And then we'll play the marathon really fast or really hard or just slow. The teacher will end it with a dance party to a happy song and they can jump around and play the marathon. And for the backup activity, a child is not interested in the process, they're welcome to express their emotions in different ways. Yeah, they can separate that. And for the assessment, the teachers will be observing and taking anecdotal notes. Teachers will observe the way the students play the rapper to see if it matches their senses. No, we're done.
Hey, strength. So what you made me think about, which I really appreciate, and it's true for all these activities, we know that development is all interrelated. And what you made me think about is you could do that actually. I love that you use the instruments, that you model it, you take time. But your focus could be fine motor and large motor. Your focus can be emotions and learning emotional regulation and managing emotions. Your focus could even be, would be a little challenging, but possible with this age of following directions and taking turns. So I really do appreciate, and I think that's true for all of these activities, the richness in that. And, your focus might be fine motor, let's say, with them using, I love the variety of instruments. But then, as a teacher too, with your assessment, you want to be open to, wow, I was really trying to focus on fine motor and getting them to use it. But, this child, this older, can really seem to understand the connection with emotions and how to express it. So I love that. Love that. Very nice. Yeah, anyone else suggesting something? Have you tried that? No, you haven't. Okay. Yeah, well, very nice. All right, thank you. And everybody, I really appreciate now you're down in the fourth and the next of my house. I really don't. I really appreciate the details everybody shared and how you really plan how each person in your partnership presented. So I really appreciate that. And I really feel that I really see how each of you demonstrated over this one of them. And your role is your role. So one thing I want to say too, and then I'm just going to what's coming. When we get together after the right training, if you do the part and then you will do your toddler lesson plans, you could take the same lesson plan. I would challenge you maybe to do an older toddler and I mean like 24 to 36 months old. You can do the same lesson plan. I just make some revisions to it to make it a little bit more robust for the toddler, the older, younger or older toddler. So keep that in mind. Questions, comments, always. All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint. All right, so while I'm pulling this up, everybody, already know we've got the lesson plan scheduled. Make sure you one thing I did where my brain was not. So make sure you send me that lesson plan. in advance, make sure you're cooperating, make sure you get this earlier in advance, like I get it. Make sure you, we're only looking at 24 hours in advance, that I will be at your, preschool. If you email lesson plan to me the day before, I can't take that as. Oh, yeah, thank you, Josie. So, yes, so I would like you each to do your own individual reflection and submit that to B2L. And that would be due by Sunday. Yeah, thank you.
Is there a submission open for it?
For the, should be, if not all. All right, let me just go.
For the one that's due the 30th? It's the one that we just did.
One you just did. So with that was in, so make sure your age range is no older than 14 months on this lesson plan. All right, so I think we already talked about the preschool lesson plans. You know you're using your favorite lesson plan template. That once you graduate from Northeastern, you'll never use it again. I already know, like, what am I doing? Right. I know. All right, I already said this. Oh, make sure, I think I've connected with most people, not everybody. Make sure the lesson, make sure your clinical schedule is submitted to Water Park with a water. See? I've been here since 3:00. Water Park. With everybody's signature, please make sure it's also submitted to L with the clinical site information form, so you can know where it's going, I know if you're in an annex building, all that fun stuff. Okay, a couple more things I just want to share with everybody. I am just sharing this with you. We're not gonna dig into this today. This year, the College of Education is piloting something called an educator disposition assessment. It is a watermark. It's a pilot program because, you know, I think we know, and I think Northeast are trying to figure out how to include this in everything with our evaluation. We know how important disposition is in this work as teachers. So the disposition assessment, it is a watermark. I'll give you a date later after spring break. You will have to do a self-assessment. You only have to do one. In watermark, I think there might be two. There might be like a free assessment and a closed or something. You only have to do the one at the end of the semester. I'll give you a due date for it. I think there's 9 items. I will also do the assessment. It does not become part of your grade because it's a pilot. And just to give you an example, so there's a 1 to 3 point rating scale, needs improvement 1, developing 2, meets expectations 3, 4. Just like the other evaluation tool we have that's done at the end of the semester, for students in 327A, even in B, the expectation is not that students are exemplar or meet expectations. Expectations is that it's a working class. And honestly, I think the teacher we're all over, right? So these are just some of the items that are on that. There's 9 items, I think, that are on that disposition assessment. Demonstrates effective oral communication skills. Demonstrates professionalism, and explains what those are. Demonstrates positive and enthusiastic attitude. I believe with the demonstrates effective oral communication skills, I believe there's some details in there, including emails to me or to your cooperating teacher. So, you know, if you send an email that says, hey, you know, I need the, you know, so that would be part of it. But we can look at that more later in the semester. Questions about that? Okay, here's one of my experiments that I am doing this semester, so we'll see how it goes. There is an assignment, I changed the due date, so it was this week, I think I changed it for the following week, is that right? March 16th, thank you. I'm giving you a choice, health, safety, nutrition, so you should have already done, gateways 2A, 2B, and 2C, which were about those topics. You have a choice for this assignment of what to do, and it's all here, it's all under assignment. Your choice is you can create a trifold brochure with a partner or by yourself. Actually, I have two choices with that. On health, safety, and or nutrition. Imagine that it would be a brochure that you would give to parents. It could be about car seat safety. It could be about sudden infant death. It could be, since it's a trifold, it can be a little bit about health, a little bit about safety, a little bit about nutrition. Geared toward infants and toddlers. Again, you can do it on your own. You can do it with a partner. So you have two choices. Your third choice is, and it's all in the assignment. There are, I think, 8 or 9 case studies that I created, most of them, if not all of them, from my own experiences as a teacher and director. And you can respond to 4, you can choose 4 of the case studies and respond. And you did that already. Any thoughts, comments, advice you have about that?
I actually did both the assignments, so they were both fine.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. So you have a choice. You can do a trifold brochure by yourself or with a partner, or you can look at the case studies. It's all under assignments. It's all there. I think I have 9, and there's 3 scenarios with prompts. I think I have 9, and you're gonna choose 4 to respond to. Read Justine's today, I felt like I was reliving my life as a director. Well, you know, as somebody I used to work with would say to me, you can't make this stuff up, and you don't have. Okay, questions about that? So it's in the PowerPoint and it's in the assignment, so you don't have to remember that, you can choose. All right, other to-dos, the video reflection number 2, oh, I just thought of something else, is due this week, and when I say number 2, I mean the number 2 assignment, 1 infant, 1 toddler video, 2 hours per video, which means in watermark, in watermark, you would put 4 hours in. Also, while I'm thinking about it, for some of you, it's easy for this to happen. It's not a big deal. I rejected some people's hours of watermark. You have to choose the category. You have to choose toddler or preschool. So if you chose preschool, or if you chose infant toddler, but it was really your preschool hours for your CT to approve, I reject. So you have to, sorry. And then I think for your infant toddler hours, correct me if I'm wrong, you do not choose a location. You don't choose it. Okay. Other to-dos, I have to look at, so I told you about the health, safety, and nutrition assignment. And then there is an anti-bias film. So next week we don't meet. Next week is your online week. I'll tell you this quickly. A student from the other class who was also working ahead, I had an anti-bias webinar that I've been using the last couple of years, which is very good, from the Head Start website. And she, a week or 2 ago, told me she clicked on my link and she couldn't find it. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I did something wrong. So I did a little digging, and here's what I discovered. Head Start is a federal government agency. So all of the DEI and anti-bias resources on their beautiful website. So anyway, I found something else that I'm very pleased with. The reality is this will probably make you work a little bit less time. I think this is a little shorter. So there is an anti-bias film that is on a private website, not a federal government one, because they're all gone. So if there's any other links that I provide for you that don't seem to work, let me know. Glad she let me know. So there is a film for you to watch next week. That's your work for next week with a reflection. And then obviously prepare for that first preschool lesson. Questions?
Does that lesson plan, have to be, like, what's the lesson plan outline again
Which one?
for our observation?
It's the regular good one that's long.
Okay.
But you don't have to fill out every element. If you put much of the information in under instructional procedures, like your time, your language demands, and when I say language demands, I mean like what vocabulary words are you going to introduce to children? What open-ended questions are you going to ask? Okay. So if you add some of those details in the instructional procedures, you not have to fill out some of those other elements, because I know there is some repetitiveness in that part. And at the beginning of the form, Julia, you know, there's the, what is it, objective, focus, objectives, the rationale. There's a little bit of redundancy there too. So just make sure you are clear on that, and maybe a sentence. That makes sense? And hopefully it won't be. Yeah, but you will have to use that one. I know, I think Dr. Maldonado, didn't she revised one for it, didn't she? Yeah, but it just, I looked at it, I like it, and I know she does a lot with backward design, which I appreciate, but it did, you know, I just don't think because this is a clinical. But, you know, there's a reason why you use that. The reason is, you know, as a student, you're learning about all that goes into a lesson. By the time you become a teacher and you have all that practice, you're not. You're going to use the lesson plan wherever you work, and you'll know all the intention that's going to the lesson. Other questions, comments? Okay. I should see many of you this week or next week. I'm excited. Don't be nervous. Don't overthink it. It'll be great. It'll be fun. And then next week is asynchronous. And then the following. So I hope everybody, I know it's a different break than CPS. Some of you are likely still going to be doing your clinicals during Northeastern spring break. And then, of course, if you're at CPS, I think everybody, well, almost everybody in this room is at CPS. They have spring break. Yes, yes. And that's see, my last slide. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. Isn't that nice? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. And if you have questions about any of your lesson plans or the observation, reach out to me. Reach out to me. And I hope everybody has a good rest of the week. I'll see some of you in the next couple of days. You want, feel free to grab a snack on the way out. Thanks. Oh, who's got that last? Oh, there it is. Thank you. Tomorrow, Friday. Next week on Monday. What did we say? Okay. Well, make sure you submit the sign schedule. Schedule assignment. I'm going to enter.
Right.